basic terminology of cryptography, how the different components get connected to secure a message. We have discussed all these things, and also we have discussed the basic, the type of the cryptography. That was symmetric and asymmetric cryptography. Symmetric cryptography means when the keys for encryption and decryption are same, the encryption is called symmetric cryptography. If the no different keys are used, I'll share the so we have discussed this thing in our last class. I mean, in cryptography, if the two keys, one for encryption and another for decryption, if k is equal to k dash, in that case, the encryption is called symmetric key cryptography. And if the keys are different, that means if this k and k dash are different, in that case, it is known as asymmetric key cryptography. So we have discussed one basic model of symmetric encryption also, in which we were using KDC, key distribution center, for exchanging the key between the two users. Similarly, we have discussed the model of asymmetric encryption also, in which we were using the keying of the receiver side. This the right hand side is the receiver side, and we are using the key pair of receiver end. So we are using receiver side keying, and receiver is sharing a public key with the sender to to make the message secure. And as soon as the message, the plain text p is converted into ekp of p, the message is sent over the channel, and on the receiving end we use the decryption algorithm to convert this or this encoded message in the the original form by using the decryption. So decryption we have discussed also. So now today's discussion we are going to classify the encryption on a different parameter. So today we are going to discuss a different type of classification of encryption, that is substitution cipher and transposition cipher. So earlier we have discussed the classification based on the keys used for the encryption decryption, and now we are going to discuss about the classification based on the type of how we are going to do this encryption. I mean, are we going to substitute the given text with a new one, a completely new one text or new text, or are we going to rearrange the order of the letters? Let's suppose if we're going to, if we have the keyword as PSIT, okay, so there are two ways of replacing this keyword PSIT into a coded form. Either we can have, let's say, if P equal to A, S equal to B, I equal to C, and T is equal to D. So PSIT will be replaced by ABCD. Okay, so this is one method. Or what we can do, we can reorder the letters in PSIT. So one method is, let's say, if we are going to change the order of the letters in PSIT, in that case it will be say ISPT. So I mean, no, and there are a number of ways to organize the letters in a given text. And on the receiving end, what we have to do, because I mean we are using some method to substitute the keywords, substitute the letters with a new set of letters. So in that case, we have to share this method of encoding with the receiver also. Unless the receiver is not aware about the decoding or decryption method, he won't be able to get the original form of message. So what we have to do, I'll start with this thing. So, what is substitution cipher? Substitution cipher means we substitute the entire text with a new set of letters. Let's say if the we are taking the example of uh, statement. Let's say the plain text is P. Plain text P is defined as I am a student. Okay, so I am a student. This is the plain text. And now what we're going to do, we are going to replace each character by two characters plus. So that means I will be replaced by K, A is replaced by C, M is replaced by O, A is replaced, I mean plus 2 means A is replaced by C and D. Sorry, B and C. So in this way, each letter is replaced by the a letter of after one after jump. Okay. So similarly, I is replaced by J and K. So okay, so I is replaced by K, A is replaced by C, M is replaced by O. Again, A is replaced by C, S is replaced by U, and in this way, we can encrypt the entire text into a new encoded form. Okay, so this is the substitution cipher. So now class, this is the substitution cipher. Now inside the substitution cipher, we have two ways. Here we can see this thing that like A is coming, the frequency of letter A is 2. Okay, so we are replacing each time A with a single letter C. I mean, whenever A is coming, we are replacing it with C. Okay, or if the T has come twice, so we are replacing each time T with V. Okay, so this is how, I mean, if this kind of method is followed, that means each character is replaced by only a single each alphabet is replaced by only a single alphabet. That kind of encryption is known as monoalphabetic cipher. Monoalphabetic means single replacement. Monoalphabetic cipher. Okay. Then another one is polyalphabetic cipher. That means, let's say if we have some letters in text which have frequency more than one. So whenever these letters are encountered, or whenever we get these letters, so every time we'll have to replace it with a new letter. Let's say if A is encountered first time, so we are going to replace it with +2. That means C. If next time A is coming again, so we are going to replace this with +3. That means +D. And the same we have to share with the receiver also. That the letters with having letters having frequency more than one are replaced by +2, +3, and so on, like this. So this kind of encryption is called polyalphabetic cipher. First one is monoalphabetic, second is polyalphabetic cipher. Monoalphabetic means, I repeat, in this case, each no each letter in the text having frequency more than one is replaced by only a single letter. Like here in this example, I mean, whenever C was coming here, whenever A was coming here, so we are replacing A by a single replacement C, and no, so this is the monoalphabetic cipher. But in case of polyalphabetic cipher, what happens whenever a letter with a frequency more than one is coming, we have to replace this letter with a new character. So this is called polyalphabetic cipher. Okay, so these encryption algorithms are very complex sometimes, and like this +2 and +3 can be a keyword. Okay, so this can be an encryption or decryption key. Like +2 is encryption key. So what we are doing, we're going to replace each character with a letter no, coming one after the next the next alternate character. So this is the substitution cipher. So inside the substitution we have two methods, monoalphabetic and polyalphabetic cipher. Now next we have transposition cipher. In case of transposition cipher, as I told you, we reorder the letters in the text. So let's say if this is the plain text, I am a student. So what we are going to do, we are going to write this statement in a zigzag manner. So I, then A, M, A, S, T, U, D, E, N, T. Okay, so now we have written the plain text like this, and now we're going to read it like this, row wise. I mean, we have written it in a zigzag manner, and we're going to read it in a straight. So it will be I M S U E T A A T D N. So this is your cipher text. Class, please, this is an important point. We always represent our cipher text in a block letter only. Cipher texts are always represented in block letters. And again, when we get this plain text, when we get this cipher text on the receiving end, to convert into the plain text, what we're going to do, we have written the letters in a zigzag manner, and we read them in a straight manner for converting into the ciphertext. What we're going to do here, we are going to write the letters, you know, uh, in a row in row wise, and we're going to read them zigzag manner. I mean the reverse method. Here we were writing it in a zigzag manner, and we were reading them straight. In this case, we are writing them in a straight line, and we are going to read them in a zigzag manner. So this is the reverse method. So what we're going to do? We have written the letters like this: I, M, S, U, E, T, A, T, D, N. And please do not worry about that. How why we have written only 6 characters in the first row and remaining letters in the next row. This all information is given inside the encryption and decryption algorithm. Okay, the way we have encrypted the text, this method must be shared with the receiver so that receiver can uh, get the original can obtain the original form of the data. So this information is shared with the receiver, and with help of that information, the receiver can convert that uh, coded message into the decoded one. In this particular example, I mean, when we have written this in its exact form and read it straight, and again we have written it in straight manner, and we read them in a zigzag manner, is called rail fence cipher. This particular cipher is known as rail fence cipher. Now, again, we have one more example of this transposition cipher called column cipher. So, what we are going to do, we are going to write the letters in a column in a row wise: I, M, A, S, T, U, D, E, N, T, and X. X is here. X is a random character to fill the uh, uh, empty position here. And now what we're going to do, we have written the letters row wise. Now we're going to read them column wise. So IUNIASDTMTEX is your ciphertext. You can see here IAUNASDTMTEX. This is your ciphertext. And now on the receiving end, we'll share this information with the receiver that to convert the to decode the message, we have used the method of column cipher, where we have used 3 columns. So in that case, and the receiver will perform the reverse operation of this. Now the receiver will arrange the characters column wise. Okay, because this information is shared with the receiver that how many columns and rows are formed. So now it will arrange the letters in row wise. I mean row wise. So for this, it will write the characters in a column. So IAUN. So IAUN first column, then ASDT second column, then MTEX is your third column. And now for encryption, what we have done, we have written the letters row wise and we read them column wise. Here for decryption, what we have to do, we have written the letters column wise and we are going to read them row wise. So it will be I am a student of, I mean, I'm a student. And X, because this X was a random entry, so we will discard it on the receiving end. It was just a filler actually to fill the empty position. This all information is shared with the receiver in advance. So based on this information, the receiver can convert this data into the, I mean, plain text is converted into the ciphertext, and ciphertext is converted into the plain text. Now, class, if you have any doubt, you can ask me questions regarding this. Class, do you have any doubt about this? This substitution cipher and transposition cipher. Class, do you have any doubt about it? Substitution cipher and transposition cipher. Any one of you can respond on this. Hello, am I audible? Any one of you can unmute yourself and tell me. I mean, is there any doubt about this topic, or should I move further? Hello, Abhishek, Aditya, Agraj, Aishwarya, Akash. You can respond on this.
No doubt, sir.
So with this, I am going on our next topic. That is public key crypto system. What is public key crypto system? So for this, to share the screen again. You. What is public key crypto system? So class, in our last, I mean, in our previous discussion, we have discussed the basic category of the encryption system. So the basic category was symmetric and asymmetric cryptography. In that, if we are using the same keys, the encryption is called symmetric. If we are using the different keys, it's known as asymmetric encryption. So in case of asymmetric cryptography, we have used two keywords: public key and private key. Public key is the sequence of characters which is publicly known to a set of people, like your mail ID. Okay, and the private key means just like your password. So when private key is a sequence of characters which is secure keyword for a person. So we do not share the private key, we share only the public key for encryption. So in case of public key cryptography, we have two methods. I mean, you can see here in this block diagram. So the right hand side is corresponding to your receiver and the left hand side is corresponding to your sender. So on the sending end, class, in case of public key crypto system, there are two methods. First is for security encryption. First method is for security encryption. In that case, we are using the key pair of receiver. Plus, here we are making this this no, key this I mean, we are using the key pair of receiving end. In that case, we are sharing the receiver's public key with the sender, and sender is using KU. KU means the receiver's public key for encryption, and the plain text P is passing through this encryption algorithm. We are getting EKU of P, which is the ciphertext. Now this ciphertext is moving from source to destination. On the destination, we are using the private key of the receiver, because I mean, like, just like your mail ID and password. So if we are using your mail ID for your for writing a mail to you, so you can you can open your mailbox by using your mail ID and your password only. So there is a unique key pair of keys, like your mail ID and password. So what we are doing here, we are using the receiver's private key for decryption. So DKR, DKR means decryption with the private key of receiver of EKU of P, and it will ultimately give you the plain text P. So this is the public key crypto system for performing the security and encryption. And the second method is based on authentication. I mean, let's say if we have a piece of paper, then like just like you get, sometimes you get a notice, okay, and you say that that notice is fake. So how do you know this thing, that notice is fake or a genuine notice? You check the signature of the sender. If this, the signature of sender are genuine, we consider that this notice is genuine. Otherwise, when we say that this notice is fake. So if we introduce uh, a unique keyword of the sender in your message, then we can introduce the authentication in the data. So what we're going to do here, we're going to apply the reverse method as like the previous one. So in case of the security encryption, we were using the key pair of receiving end. For providing the authentication, we are using the key pair of sending end. So here we are using the key pair of sender. And now for encrypting the data, we are using the private key of sender. I repeat, for encryption, we are using the private key of sender, and for decryption, we are using the public key of the sender. Class, I repeat, for encryption, we are using the private key of the sender, and for decryption, we are using the public key of the sender. And this key pair is again unique key pair. Like just like that, like suppose if you are going to access some content of yahoo.com, let's say when some content is available on yahoo.com and you want to access it. So what we are going to, I mean, what is your requirement for that? You just need a URL corresponding to that page. That is yahoo.com, www.yahoo.com. You need not to check the the signature of the one who has uploaded the data. So the web designer has created the page on Yahoo, and he has logged the page with his signature with a particular a pattern. And now, whenever you want to access the content of yahoo.com, you will use the uh, public key corresponding to that, and that is your public key of the sender. So, in this case, we are using the key pair of sender in place of the key pair of receiver. So, with the help of this, we can provide the authentication in the data. Now, class, if we combine both the methods, I mean, if we want to provide authentication as well as security encryption, so what we have to do first, we need to. I mean, here we are using two steps of encryption and two steps of decryption. The plain text P first is passing through an encryption algorithm E1, okay, and we are encrypting it with KAR of sender. That means the private key of sender, okay, and the corresponding public key is shared with the receiver. Again, output of this particular algorithm and KR, that is KR of P, we are passing through another encryption algorithm that is called E2. E2 is a different algorithm for no, providing a security. This particular encryption is providing authentication. This particular encryption is providing security. So again, we are passing this encrypted data through an encryption algorithm E2, and now this time we are using the public key of receiver. So now the output of this will be EKU of the output of E1. So now this double encrypted data will move from source to destination. On the receiving end, first we are passing this ciphertext through the reverse process of E2, that is D2. As I repeat, we are passing through this ciphertext on the receiving end, first corresponding to the reverse process of E2, that is D2, and your D2 is using the private key of the sender, because the public key of the sender was sorry, the private key of the receiver, because the public key of receiver was used for encryption in this phase. So we are using here the private key of the sender, sorry, private key of the receiver, and output of this will be this phase, this particular phase. I mean, now this particular part will come here. The output of this will be EKR of P, and now again we are going to pass it through a different process, which is E1, corresponding to the process E1. So now, when we are passing passing the content of passing the output of D2 through D1. So now it will be D1 KU of EKR of P, and output of that this will be your plain text. So we are performing the two methods here for for security as well as encryption. Class, can you compare this particular phenomena with a real-time process somewhere we use this method in our life? Just take a while and just think about it. Um, where do we use this particular method in our life? Do we have applied this method ever in our life? First, we are encrypting the content with our own I mean, with our own private key, and we are sharing the public key. Again, the message is encrypted by the public key of the receiver, and we are performing this process. Have you ever experienced this thing? Just think about it. Take a minute and just think about it. Where you have used this thing. Okay, so now I'll tell you where do we experience this situation. Whenever you are writing a mail to someone, so what we do first, you open your mailbox, and for opening your mailbox, you use your password. You use your mail ID and password to open your mailbox. Then you write a mail, and for writing a mail, you need a mail ID, which is a public key of the receiver. So first we are using your password, which is the private key. So first we are applying the authentication through your ID and password, and on the after that you are applying the security by introducing the public key of the receiver. And on the receiving end, what we're going to do, first we will open the mailbox of receiver by using its private key and public key. And after it, what we have to do, we have to click on the sender's name, I mean the sender's mail ID, to open the content. So I mean this process is very much similar to that email method. So I hope this is clear to all of you. Now class, we have another classification of photography. So till now we have discussed one with the asymmetric and symmetric. Then we have discussed the substitution and transmission cipher. And now we will discuss another classification of photography, which is based on the how the data is entertained by the algorithm. So if the entire data we are, I mean, if let's say there are two ways to classify the cryptography in this method. One is called stream cipher and second is called block cipher. In case of stream cipher, this one, stream cipher is a method in which the characters of the plain text are entertained separately. Let's say if I am a student, so I mean each character will be entertained separately. I mean we will deal with each character separately. In this case, we get the plain text. I mean the cipher text, which is which I mean which actually look like the same. I mean the organization of the cipher text is similar to the plain text. In case of block cipher, what we do, we take the block of the data and we provide a cipher text corresponding to that block. Let's say if IAM is one block, again STU is one block, then DEN is one block, TOF is one block, TSI is one block, TXX is one block. So we'll take one block at a time and we will produce the ciphertext for one block separately. So if this kind of encryption is performed, this is known as block cipher. And now we're going to discuss some examples of block cipher. So first example of block cipher is DES. DES stands for data encryption algorithm. Data encryption algorithm, DES. Now inside the DES, this is the block diagram of DES. What I mean to understand it in more detail, I'll tell you. In case of DES, what we do, we divide the entire data. We divide the entire data into the blocks of 64 bits. I mean, let's say if there are 1000 bits in the data. So what we do, we divide the entire 1000 bits into combination of say 64 bits, and we entertain these 64 bits separately. I mean, whenever we will encrypt the plain text, we will take the 64 bits block and we will produce a ciphertext for this 64 bit, then again the next 64 bit, then next 64 bit, and this way we will complete 1000 bits. So this is the block diagram of this algorithm. So you can see here, like 64-bit plain text P we are using here, and we are passing it through a first process that is called initial permutation. Initial permutation is the first method that through which we are passing the 64-bit plain text, and output of this initial permutation. Initial permutation will do what? It will extract 56 bits out of the 64 bits. I mean, through some permutation combination method, it will take 56 bits out of these 64 bits of the plain text, and it will pass these 56 bit in the first round of the test algorithm, first round R1, and there are 16 rounds in one process of DES, and the output of this IP is the output of this initial permutation is 56 bits combination. And I mean, round one, in what happens in round one, you can see in the right hand side of the diagram, we are using a block diagram for producing the key. Also here you can see K1, K2 and K16. So I mean, in each combination we are providing a different key. Okay, for each round we are providing a different key. So for 16 round we are providing 16 keys, and every time we are producing a new key with the help of this block diagram. So we are using PC1. PC1 stands for uh, this is for permitted choice. PC stands for permitted choice, and initially we are using the 64-bit key for to provide it to our initial permutation, and this PC. So permitted choice one is PC1. We are passing our 64-bit string in this permitted choice one, and output of this PC1 is 56 bits. And what is going to happen here? We are going to take randomly 56 bit out of this 64-bit pattern, and we're going to pass it through a LCS. LCS stands for left circular shift. Left circular shift means if there are 56 bits in this method, so what we're going to do, we are going to shift it circularly left hand side. So from right hand side, the left hand side. So the rightmost bit will come in the leftmost. The second bit, the second rightmost bit will come the the rightmost, and in this way all the bits will shift one position right hand side. So left circular shift. So in this way, the entire pattern is now circulated left hand side, and now output of this 56 bit will pass through PC2. This PC2 will randomly choose 48 bits from this pattern of 56 bits, and this will give you the first key K1 that will pass in our round 1 R1. So R1 and K1, the combination of R1 and K1 is unique. Similarly, R2 and K2 is unique. R16 and K16 is unique. And after that, we will get the I mean, after round 2, after round 16, we'll get the uh, 56 bit long pattern, and we will apply IP inverse, initial permutation inverse process, the process through which we have extracted the 56 bits out of 64 bits. We are going to apply the reverse process, and we will we will have again 64-bit long ciphertext out of this. And here every time we are going to form our uh, a different key for different rounds with the help of this process. LCS, left circular shift, again left circular shift, and PC2, again left circular shift, and PC3, again left circular shift, and PC4, and like this, and again finally LCS and P6, P2, and we will get the K16. So every time we will apply left circular shift and permitted choice process to get the keys for each round of DES. This is how the DES is performed. In our last class, one student was asking, he said, how we will apply this, how we'll apply this thing in our data. So this is the method of applying the encryption algorithm in our data. 64-bit pattern is used. I mean, after this 64-bit pattern, we'll again use the next 64-bit plain text, and we will perform the same operation over here. Again, we'll get the ciphertext. So I mean, as soon as this 64-bit ciphertext will arrive on the receiver, will perform the reverse operation of this. Here you can see this thing. When here we got the 64-bit log pattern on the receiving end, and we are passing it through the IP inverse. The first process is IP. I'm sorry, this is the IP. So IP means extracting the 56 bits. And now again this 56-bit pattern will go to round 16 along with the K16 bit. And here in this way, the finally will apply the IP inverse to get the 64-bit plain text. So in this way, the encryption is performed over now in case of your this method. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me. Class, if you have any doubt, you can ask me. What you can do now, I mean, with the help of this discussion, you can just revise the content once. And if you have any doubt when in your next class, you can ask me. I'll repeat the entire content because I know that understanding of DES is difficult the way we are teaching at this time. So I give you complete time of because our next class would be on Wednesday. Wednesday or Thursday. So whenever we have our next class, so you can ask me. I'll repeat the entire content once again. Now, class, with this, I'll move to our next discussion. That is DES with two keys. Here we have used only one 64-bit key pattern to produce these 16 different keys. Now, in case of for increasing the more security in data, what we're going to do here is we are going to use two encryption algorithm. Okay, so in each K1 and E1 we have 16 rounds of DES. Again 16 rounds of DES with a different key, and output will supply on the communication channel. On the receiving end, because we have used E2 at later stage, so we'll apply D2 first here on the receiving end, and output of D2 will pass to D1 with corresponding key K1, and output of this will be your plain text P. Similarly, I mean here we are using two keys. Again, DES with two key has a different format in which we have applied encryption and decryption both at the sending end. So here we are using encryption with key K1, again decryption with key K2, again encryption of this output of this with encryption with K1. So it will be EK1 of DK2 of EK1 of P. Okay, so now on the receiving end, we'll apply the reverse process. Corresponding to this encryption, we'll apply decryption with key K1. Corresponding to this decryption, will apply encryption with key K2. And corresponding to this encryption, will apply decryption with key K1. And output of this will be plain text P. This is how the encryption and decryption is done. Now, class, this is all about your encryption and decryption using DES. On this point, I'll finish my lecture today because I know this is sufficient content for you to revise and come back for the next class. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. I'll repeat the content again. Okay, class, because I know we have sufficient time. 15th May is the date to finish the content, and before that I'm sure that we'll finish the content. So still, if you have any doubt, you can ask me, or you can come back on in the next class and we'll discuss again for these topics. If you have any doubt, you can ask me, class, any one of you. Abhishek, Aditya, Agraj, Aishwarya, any doubt? Ask me. I'll repeat the content at this point, or if you want me to repeat the content in next lecture, I'll do that the same. Hello, am I audible to all?
इसको दिन में 3-4 बार लगा
आदित्य, अग्रज,
और बना दे, खत्म हो गया।
आकर्ष. Am I audible to all? Am I audible? Hello? Hello? So, this point I'm finishing the lecture today. And if you have any doubt, you can get back to me in the next class. Thank you very much.